real quick, Heisman front runner, middle of October, literally middle of October is.
I think it's Ashton Jeanty. I mean,
really do.
Yeah, like I still think Travis Hunter's in there. It's good to hear that Deion says he's going to play this weekend. His shoulder got banged up. He didn't play much last week.
I mean, I know they lost to Kansas State, but Shedeur looked terrific. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. Like Shedor's, I think he's a really good quarterback. I think the Heisman guy there is Travis Hunter, to be honest. The quarterbacks to watch, Cam Ward at Miami, they're still rolling. He's made a huge difference on that program. I think he will be around this Heisman race. And usually those guys at the big programs, if they keep winning, tend to leapfrog the stories we like at this time of year.
What about Ewers? Did him getting hurt?
This is a game which will, he was fine. He looked a little rusty coming back against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's defense is good. Their offense is bad. But this is a chance for Ewers to surge up, there. I mean, you have a Tennessee-Alabama game, which is still, people are going to watch it. And you have Jalen Milroe, who has been really, really good. And I think they still have a puncher's chance. I think Dylan Gabriel stepped into the race last week with how he did.
Vanderbilt beating Alabama is the biggest shocker of the season so far.
You want to say Diego Pavia is in there? Or?
No, I'm just throwing out what just throwing one more out at you.
Yeah, I mean,
Vandy beating Alabama is the shocker of the season.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois is up there.
It's up there. Yep.
But I think what kind of muted that a little bit is Notre Dame lost to Marshall a few years ago, and I think it was like, okay, Notre Dame's a good team, but they're still, their margin for error feels like it's not as big as Alabama's normally does. But I think the game you're talking about is a credit. Clark Lee has built that. He lost some good players in the portal, and he got a really terrific leader in Pavia, who is, it's crazy because you mentioned Ewers, I mentioned Milroe. People thought about Carson Beck in there, Jackson Dart, and
great name.
You might have Diego Pavia, the guy from New Mexico, the wrestler from New Mexico State, might be the MVP of the SEC in the first half of the season.
Bruce, real quick, if you're Travis Hunter, the injury last week, would you think about just sitting out the rest of the season? Like every mock draft has him first, second, third overall. Like why risk it?
I hate to answer it this way, but asking me to be Travis Hunter or you to be Travis Hunter or any one of the five of us is kind of preposterous, just because I think he is like the stuff he does, it's like asking me to read a foreign language. I just think he's wired so differently, like the competitiveness and everything else. Yeah, as older people, as we all are, I could see us saying, oh, yeah, the money's on the back end of it. But also, if you're him, you were the #1 recruit in the country. You chose to go to Jackson State to go play for Deion Sanders. You knew you weren't winning a national title there. You chose to follow Deion to Colorado. You probably knew the odds of it's a big deal, I think, if they go to a bowl game and if they go to a decent bowl game. That's still out there. I think there's also the opportunity for him to still win the Heisman. I mean, say what we just said about Jeanty, like he needs a lot of stuff to break right for him. If Travis Hunter ends up doing more Travis Hunter stuff and they win 8 or 9 games on their top 25 team, I think Travis Hunter ends up like, if Jeanty runs for 3,000 yards and they go to a playoff, maybe. But again, and I get it. I'm sure there's a big insurance policy that Travis Hunter has, but I don't know.
I'm with you, though. It is. I'm with you in two things that you hit on. First of all, how can you put anybody in his shoes, right? Because of what he's done and what he does. I just think Deion has built a unicorn or shepherded nurtured a unicorn who has a competitive streak in him that I don't think I don't know him from Adam. I just say he's got a competitive streak in him where he's not tapping out.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. No, look, there's great players. I mean, I think this is different than Fournette and Christian McCaffrey when they decided not to play in bowl games. Yes. Obviously, those guys are high level football talents and competitors, but
I'm with you. It just doesn't sound. It doesn't.
I don't mean to be dismissive of your question.
No, of course not. I mean,
I don't think it's an illegitimate question. I don't think that's an illegitimate question. It's just like any question you have about anybody who's that talented. Yeah. Wants to keep himself ready, but we're in the middle of October. I don't know. There's still miles to go right there. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.